All right, so here it is, the Xop Invader. This is the first machine cut aluminum platform to hit the market from Xop. They kind of took the market by storm this year. They came out with the retrograde, the cold world, and this is the saddle offering. Very, very light platform. Now they build this as 2.9 pounds on their website. I actually had it at 3, not that big of a deal, just a little bit off. It's a 12 by 12 in dimension. So a very decent size. That's very similar to a lot of the platforms on the market. It's not too big, it's not too small. So just looking at the platform, one of the things that I thought was really unique, there's actually a couple things, but this huge gap here, this is their V channel for the tree. So you can see just how deep of a channel here. That's pretty unique to other platforms on the market. And what they're advertising is to allow for a small diameter tree and also larger diameter trees. So according to their website, you're going to get a better bite on, you know, your small trees and the big trees, the same bite really. One of the other things I think is very unique and probably my favorite feature on this platform is this V step. So this is a patented idea they have where they have these V's, and it's very similar to, I guess I would look at the Latitude X-Wing platform that has those very aggressive angles on it, and you're going to get something very similar here in this platform. Now when I was actually testing this on the tree, this is by far the nicest feature of this platform. To be able to get in there and push off these angles, it's very, very impressive how they did that. You're going to get a standard 4-point bracket, machine cut aluminum. Everything besides the post is coated in their Dura grip coating. So again, this is this powder coat that's got walnuts or some sort of a texture in it. It's very, very abrasive. That's a good thing for traction, but you know, one of the things that I'm concerned about is this platform is designed to have these aider slots in here where you can actually potentially use this to one stick, or maybe not one stick, maybe you just want to get an extra stick out of your setup so you can hang this on the tree, and then you could use like a backwoods mobile gear or an altimeter and you get 3 more steps out of it. I'm concerned about the Dura grip here because it's just so abrasive. This, I mean, if you mess around with this thing for a while, it kind of chews up your hand. You're gonna have to sand these areas, or you're gonna have to tape them, you're gonna have to stealth strip them. You're definitely gonna have to do something if you want to use that feature. Now you don't have to use that feature, so it doesn't matter. It's just an option there. So it is a nice option that they give you. Also, there's a very unique little cutout right here, and it almost looks like it's a slot for a rope. So if you wanted to one stick with this platform, which I'm sure you could do it, I don't know why you'd want to, but if you really did want to, this looks like one of those channels, just like on the Eastern Woods Outdoors Ultimate One Stick, there's a rope channel there. I'm guessing that's what this is. I don't see any other reason for it. The only downside I see to this is there's a ton of built up residual powder coat in there. It's going to be very aggressive on your rope, and again, I think you're going to have to sand all these edges down. And the channel, because this is a water jet cut platform, the channel is not very consistent, so you could get some rope wear in there, and I would be willing to bet that it's not going to be super consistent. You know, somebody might order a platform and theirs might be perfect, or vice versa. It just depends how the water jetting process goes. So the post here is cut from a water jet process. You can see some small water jet marks inside. You know, from all the water jetting I've saw in the past from other companies, this is done fairly well. There's just some minor marks in there, so it does look really nice. One of the things that I thought was interesting is just how low this button is, and I think it's actually a design flaw, to be honest with you. Having a button so low, you're not getting the most bang for your buck when you put this on a tree. You know, if you had a button up here, you're really getting a lot more leverage. You're getting more of a structure that's put on that tree. Having the button so low, in my experience, is not the best thing. Now, I had a very unique situation happen to me on the tree, and I'm going to show you guys some raw, uncut footage from the first time that I've actually put this on a tree. This is the first time I've been on this platform not in my barn. Feels pretty good. You know, I'm 260 pounds. It's got that little bit of machining flex to it. Overall, not too bad. Get out on the side here. Oh, shit. Wow. That kind of scared me a little bit, puckered my booty hole. The hell, man? It's because I didn't tow hook it? Okay, let's set this up again. So everything's tight. So you can't push it down right here. There's just too much leverage. So I'd have to bring this up a little bit. Okay. I'm not sure why this kicked out. You know, you can see in the video, the platform, I had it nice and tight on the tree. It was biting good. I had a slightly downward angle, so I'm going to say that I probably had an angle about yay-so down. And then when I put my weight in this back corner, it just completely collapsed and folded up on me. And, you know, I was 2 foot off the ground, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But imagine if you were in a tree. I've never had a platform ever in any testing that I've done. Tethered Predator, Trophy Line EDP, Lone Wolf Custom Gear Fix. I got the Onyx. I've had both Latitude platforms. I've never had that happen. And I started to do a little bit of research. I went out on YouTube and I was like, all right, well, maybe there's somebody else out here that has a video on this product. Well, there's one guy, and his name's The Budget Sportsman. I actually really like his channel. He's got some cool videos, so check him out. But he mentioned this same problem happening in his video, and he looks like a beanpole. You know, no offense, but he's just a small guy. He's probably, I don't know, 160, 170 pounds. And he said that he had it happen at least a couple times. So something to think about. You know, I'm a heavy guy, I'm 260, but, you know, the Budget Sportsman, he had that problem happen twice. And it leads me to believe that maybe this button is just too low. One of the things that I've noticed in my testing, these cam straps are absolutely shredded. After 1 day of use, I mean, this is probably the worst I've seen after 1 day of use. And I'm not sure why. I think it has something to do with the finish. You know, I've been talking with some of my buddies, even on the Lone Wolf Custom Gear. I think it has something to do with this anodization. You know, if you feel it on your finger, it almost feels like sandpaper. And when you're putting all that pressure on this and you're camming it in, I think that it's just that grit. It's just tearing into the strap. And this strap is just destroyed. So you're gonna have to do some prep on here. You're gonna have to sand these edges. You're gonna have to hockey tape them. Stealth strips work really good. So it's actually several days later after I started this initial review, and I've kind of went back and forth about whether or not I wanna even disclose this. I actually had a failure on this platform. Now, looking at the platform, I do have 2 cracked welds right up on top here. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'm not sure if it happened during the camming process, if it happened just in regular use. You know, there was one time you could see in the footage where I was kind of setting the platform and I put some weight into it. You know, I've done that with every other platform I've owned and not had that issue. But this platform here seems to have failed. So I do have a little bit of like a downward angle now. It's just going to get worse with this aluminum. You know, there's not really a catastrophic failure that I've seen in the game where something just snaps with machine cut aluminum. It'll start bending over time, and it's not going to get better. It's just going to get worse. It's going to get worse as you use it more. So when this problem actually happened, at first I got pretty upset about it. I was just like, here we go again, you know, another XOP product that's not living up to the hype. I'm 260 pounds, I'm a heavier guy. Yeah, when you put a little bit of weight into that platform, you know, that's a lot of force, a lot of momentum. But like I said, I've done it with every other platform I've ever owned. I've never had an issue. I have Lone Wolf Custom Gear Fix. I've used it, you know, 15 times last season I hung out of it. I probably hung it on 20 trees just in testing. That thing's perfect. There's not an issue with it. All the Trophy Line stuff I've used over the years, I had both Latitude platforms, never had an issue. And I actually stared at this thing on my table for, I don't know, I probably stared at it for 20 minutes. I was trying to figure out why. Why would this happen? Well, if you look at this thing, yes, it's a cool design, but look at this piece here. It's like a lever. It's like a shelf. All this force is being put right here. That's a lot of force. It's a lot of pressure. and it's not reinforced at all. It's the same thickness throughout. There's a little bit of reinforcing here in the back, but if you look at every other platform in the market, you compare it to every other platform, there is much less material here. And in my opinion, it's just not as strong. I think it's a bad design, and I'm not trying to be hateful towards Xop. I know they're trying hard to come up with new stuff, but you know, this is supposedly ASTM tested, certified, whatever that means. What does that mean exactly? Does that mean you pool tested it in the lab 100,000 times, 10,000 times? But do you actually test this stuff in the real world with real hunters? You know, I found this on the first day. The first day this happened. You know, if you're a 200-pound guy, 165-pound guy, is this going to happen? I don't know. I look at this platform, and to me it just seems like there should be more material down here. It should be reinforced. And then you have these two welds here. I mean, you have welds. These tabs are welded on, actually. But all that force is being put right here. If you look at a platform like the Trophy Line Onyx, now that is a cast aluminum platform, but the tabs, the ears here are like triple the size. So there has to be a reason for that. If you look at the Latitude platforms, the machine cut platforms, those tabs are bigger. It leads me to believe that there's a reason for that. I don't know why these tabs are so small. And now looking at this, I look at the Cold World, I look at the Retrograde, they're the same size. So I'm not saying that those stands are gonna have issues either, but it just makes me kind of concerned. And then you top that with, I thought this was made in China. I guess it's made in Vietnam. Can we trust the Vietnamese to weld properly? Can we trust the Vietnamese that this is really 6061 aluminum? I don't know. I really don't know. At least in the US, you're gonna have that quality, you're gonna have that consistency, and that's, you know, what Made in USA usually is all about. All right, so in closing, I just want to say that I don't like when this stuff happens on my channel. I don't like when stuff bends. I don't like when things break. I don't like giving negative reviews. Now, I got to keep it real. I got to show you what my experience is. I actually didn't want to put this video out, and I talked to one of my buddies, and he was like, you know, but that's what you do. Like, you show the good and the bad. I thought about it for a few days, and I decided, you know, I'll put this video out there. You know, I'm not going to go on Facebook and social media and bash Xop because of this. I just don't think that that's the right thing to do. Maybe I'm getting older. I don't like arguing as much with guys. But I do want to say that, you know, nothing that happened here was done with malice. I didn't jump on this. I didn't bounce on it. Nothing crazy. I did what I always do. I test the product, and unfortunately it bent. I do want to thank Xop for being gracious in the return. They did refund my money. I have to get this sent back out. They did ask me questions about what happened. I told them what happened, and they were very professional about it. So I do appreciate that. Obviously, they know I'm gonna put out a video, but I don't want people to go online and hate on Xop. You know, hopefully Xop will take this video, maybe they'll look at it and go, man, maybe he does have some good ideas, or maybe I'll just look like an idiot. I don't know. I think that this thing is gonna have problems with heavier guys. I think there's gonna be a lot of bent products. Now, what does happen in the mobile hunting community, and I'm not saying that Xop is going to do this, but usually what happens when there's products that are bending or breaking, these companies kind of push it under the rug. You don't really hear about it in the groups, in the social media. You know, if you got some people connected, you'll still kind of hear about some issues. You know, for instance, I don't want to name names, but I had some sticks that I bent, several of them, and they just kept replacing them. I would bend them and they would replace them. They probably still replace them because they were lifetime sticks. And I never got an explanation why. Why were they bending? Nobody would say anything, and it just kind of got buried, kind of got swept away. And there's been some other companies as well. So I'm not saying Xop is going to do that. I'm just saying that I do not approve this product. And you can't always believe what you're seeing on social media. A lot of these groups, they're trying to sway people's opinions. Certain groups are geared towards certain, you know, companies. So just be careful, and just be known that when you come to this channel, you're always going to get an honest opinion, and I'm going to keep it real. So if you like videos like this, consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.